Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you're an ambitious beginner starting from absolute zero, consider me your financial coach for the next few minutes. We're going to have a really serious, no-nonsense conversation today. Maybe even a little tough love, honestly. We need to talk about the internet's most seductive buzzword, passive income. You've heard it everywhere, right? But today, we're stripping away all that hype to look at the undeniable facts of what it actually takes to build real wealth from scratch.
We've all seen the ads, you know the ones, the social media gurus sitting by an infinity pool, laptop in one hand, claiming they make $10,000 in their sleep with absolutely zero effort. Oh, and they're usually leaning against a rented Lamborghini, right? Well, let's just shatter that illusion immediately. While passive income absolutely exists, the version that's constantly sold to you on social media is, well, it's almost always a lie. Or at best, it's a massive oversimplification designed just to sell you an expensive course.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our session game plan for building real wealth from zero. We'll start with the reality check, do a strategy comparison, learn about spotting fake gurus, talk about building your stack, and finally, map out your year one roadmap. All right, jumping right into section 1, the reality check. This is where we redefine passive income. So, the crucial point is this. Before we build anything, we have to solve a core misconception. Passive does not mean effortless. What we call passive income is actually leveraged income. You're earning money from work, capital, or assets that you set up once, and then they continue generating returns without you having to actively trade your time for every single dollar. But here is the hard truth, and you simply cannot bypass this fundamental trade-off. Passive income always costs you something up front. You're either paying with your money or you're paying with your time. There is literally no system on earth that requires zero capital and zero expertise.
Moving on to section 2, strategy comparison. Let's look at the time versus capital trade-off for a beginner starting with zero.
And this brilliantly illustrates the decision you face. You basically have the two most proven, accessible paths right in front of you. On one side, you've got capital-heavy paths like broad market index funds. If you have the cash, well, your money does the heavy lifting. It's low daily effort, incredibly reliable, and it's the exact path favored by investors like Warren Buffett. But if you're starting with zero capital, you have to rely on the other side, sweat equity. Building evergreen content like a blog or YouTube channel takes a high amount of upfront effort. You're paying with your time to build an audience asset that will eventually generate income long after the hard work is done.
But we really need to anchor your expectations to reality when it comes to that sweat equity. If you're putting your time into building a blog to generate meaningful ad revenue and affiliate commissions, research shows it typically takes 12 to 24 months of consistent, grinding effort. It is definitely not an overnight process. And if you choose the video route, the timeline is pretty similar. Growing a YouTube channel to the point of actually getting monetized takes most creators 1 to 3 years. It's a high-effort, low-capital path. Now, when it eventually compounds, it compounds hard, but you have to survive that initial phase where it honestly feels like you're working for free. So what if you want to use the money-heavy route instead? Well, here is some empowering, tough love for you. To generate just $1,000 a month in purely passive dividend income, you would need roughly $250,000 to $400,000 invested, depending on your average yield. That's a lot, right? But knowing these numbers isn't meant to be discouraging. To put that into perspective, it's actually liberating. When you understand the real math and the real timelines, you can plan for a proper marathon instead of burning out at month 2, just because you aren't a millionaire yet.
All right, section 3, spotting fake gurus. Time for the defensive playbook to help you avoid those dropshipping and crypto fan of fees.
Now that we've set some realistic expectations, we really need to play defense. As a beginner, you are going to be targeted by endless scams and illusions. So I want you to run every single opportunity through this red flag checklist. First, does it promise income without meaningful upfront effort or capital? Massive red flag. Does it guarantee specific results, like making $5,000 a month guaranteed? Red flag. Is their primary product actually just a course teaching you how to make money rather than a real income strategy? Major red flag. Does it rely on MLM recruiting, or is it heavily dependent on a single, highly volatile asset? Look, if something sounds too good to be true and tries to bypass that fundamental time or money trade-off, it is just noise. Walk away. Section 4, building your stack. Now we switch to the offensive game plan. Let's stop chasing a single silver bullet and build a resilient portfolio.
Now, what's really interesting about this stack is how it perfectly maps out a diversified strategy based entirely on your starting capital and the time you're willing to invest. If your starting capital is literally zero, you focus on the asset-based streams first, creating a digital product, starting evergreen content, or uploading to stock photography sites. All of those require $0, just your time. Then, as those sweat equity assets begin to yield returns, you simply funnel that cash in to the capital-based streams, like dividend ETFs and index funds. Those take longer to yield massive results, but they require incredibly low daily effort once the money is in. Let's move to Section 5 and see how this builds into your concrete Year 1 roadmap, starting right from zero. Here is your step-by-step action plan for surviving and thriving in that critical first year. Step 1. Start small with the exact resources you currently have. If you have no money, start writing or filming today. Step 2. Add streams over time rather than all at once. Please don't try to launch a blog, YouTube channel, and a digital product all in the same week. Master one, then build the next. Step 3. Do the boring work consistently. Passive income isn't built on constant excitement. It's built on repetitive, high-value tasks done over and over again. And Step 4. Step back and let compounding do its job. Treat this journey exactly like a marathon where you're laying down bricks for a rock-solid foundation, not sprinting for an overnight payout.
To summarize our core philosophy for today, patience is the real secret. It's not a hack, it's not a loophole, it's not a proprietary system. Those people you see out there making $10,000 a month passively right now, they spent years laying the groundwork in absolute silence. They just didn't show you that part of the story.
So I'll leave you with this explainer's final question, and I really want you to answer this for yourself right now. What is the first asset you will start building today? It's time to stop endlessly watching guru videos. Stop searching for a shortcut that simply doesn't exist. Pick your path, accept the timeline, and take your very first consistent step toward building real, leveraged income today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one.